What is up, players? This is 3Lane, and before we go on to part number 3 on how to play, I want to remind you real fast, this is part number 3, guys. You should probably go on to part number 1 first, in which we go over card types, deck building, and the goal of the game. Then go over to part number 2, in which we go over the game flow and actually the phases and how to play the game. And now on part number 3, we're gonna check out other core mechanics and keywords, so you're all set to play Artifact. So stop right there, guys. There's a link over here to part number 1 and 2. Be sure to check them out first, and remember to follow on Twitch, because I'm gonna be doing a giveaway of 3 Artifact copies on the launch date, which is November 28th. I'm gonna put a link to my Twitch stream, Twitch channel in the description below. Be sure to check it out. Now let's go on to the actual video. Welcome back, players. We're gonna start with the basic understanding of the HUD in Artifact. Right now on screen there's a frozen capture of lane number 1 in round 2. On the bottom we get to see 40 health on our tower, and on the other side there's 32 health on the other tower. For our mana we got 4 out of 4, that means it's the second turn because we start with 3 mana. Now I'm gonna go ahead and zoom into the left top corner, in which we can see from left to right, first off, the heroes that are going to be available to be deployed next turn. Then we can also see the 3 lanes, right? So we can see the heroes that are placed on the lane as well as their color and icon, who has the initiative right now, and we can see the tower health. So we get a summary of what's happening on the lanes. There's a hero with a red cross, that means the hero is possibly going to die unless something happens. So that gives us a quick capture on what's going on. Now I'm gonna go ahead and show you the right top corner. On the right top corner we got a gold count, which, as I told on video number 2, we get 1 gold for each creep kill and 5 gold for each hero kill. And we also have a timer. When the game starts we get 5 minutes, and that's all you get. If you use your 5 minutes before finishing the first round, the first turn, you lose the game instantly. But if you use, let's suppose, 4 minutes, and then it's round number 2, you get an additional 2 minutes, and you start getting 2 minutes after each round. Therefore, you gain more time to make choices as long as you play fast, or as long as you don't use all your time. Well, you always get more time, but you're gonna end up having more time. So there's no rope like in Hearthstone. There's no like turn timer. You have this global timer like in chess, which keeps on adding a couple of minutes every round. Moving on to pathing. Right now on screen there's a frozen game capture. The deployment phase has just passed. We just placed our heroes, and now the little dragons, the little Dota dragons, go ahead and place arrows pointing either to the left, right, or forward in front of creeps and heroes who are not pointing towards any enemy hero or creep. I'm gonna go ahead and open up a zoom capture. Right now we can see Sorlakant is pointing forward, and the leftmost minion, the 4-2 bottom leftmost minion, is pointing to the right. So Sorlakant is gonna hit the tower, and on the other side the leftmost minion is gonna hit the neighbor to the right. In this case there's no one, right? But if Sorlakant was one space to the left, he would hit her instead of the tower. So this has 25% chance to be a left arrow, 25% chance to be a right arrow, and finally 50% chance to point forward. Whenever we go ahead and place another creep or hero with a spell card or something, and this moves the board, if this new creep or hero is not pointing anywhere, he also gets an arrow right after being placed in the board. So that's what pathing is all about. There's a little bit of RNG involved, so this is probably a measure to avoid people just going face and mindlessly playing. You have to account for that 25 plus 25% chance of your creep or hero not attacking forward when deciding where to place a card or where to deploy a hero. Now moving on to keywords, and there's around 20, I think there's 18 keywords right now. So I'm gonna place timestamps in the description so you can jump right to the keyword of your choice to avoid watching the whole video just looking for one keyword. But we're going to start with Condemn. Condemn is basically the keyword that says destroy or assassinate, more like destroy because you can also condemn items. And I'm gonna show you 3 cards as an example for this. First off, we got a black card called Slay. It's a 3 mana, and its effect is really simple, Condemn a creep, so that's basically destroy a creep. There's also another black card called Coup de Grace, and this one discards a random card but condemns a hero. So it has a little drawback, but condemning a hero with just a card, that's pretty cool, so I think this card's gonna see a lot of play. And finally, we got a green card called Corrosive Mist. This one condemns equipped items in the lane, so this is more of a supportish card that can turn the tides of battle. But just recapping, you can basically condemn creeps, condemn heroes, and also condemn items and improvements. If a creep or a hero have Cleave, this means if something blocks their attack during the combat phase, it also hits the neighbors of the blocking target. Let me show you some cards to make this a little bit more clear. First off is Clear the Deck. All our heroes get +4 Cleave when we play this card. This means if we hit something, a target that's not the tower, with a hero, the neighbors are also getting hit for 4 damage by this hero. There's also an item card called Blade of the Vigil. This one gives a hero +2 attack and +2 Cleave. Once again, if something blocks the attack of this hero, it's going to hit its left and right neighbor of the blocking target with 2 damage. That is the 2 Cleave. So it's not the whole attack value, it's only the Cleave value. There's 3 conditions though that need to happen for Cleave to take place. Condition number 1 is there has to be a blocking target. If you hit the tower, even if on your path there's neighbors to the left or right, Cleave is not going to hit them. Cleave damage is not going to take effect. Condition number 2 is this has to happen on the combat phase. So if this happens with a spell card or an effect that makes a hero or a creep duel, and this one has Cleave on it, it won't hit the neighbors even if it's being blocked by a target. And condition number 3 is the blocking target has to have neighbors. So if the blocking target has 2 blank spaces to the left and right, this means Cleave has nothing to hit and therefore it hits nothing. Damage immunity is really easy to explain. Basically, it means the creep or hero with this effect cannot be dealt damage. It can be destroyed by other means, for example Condemn, but during combat phase or by the effect of cards that deal damage, spell cards, it will just simply ignore it. And I have a green card for you guys. This one is Divine Purpose. This card is as simple as the keyword. It basically means give a unit forever, modify is forever, damage immunity. So it will ignore damage from combat phase or from cards. Remember though, it can be killed by effects such as Condemn. If a unit is going to die and has Death Shield, instead of dying, it remains alive with 1 health and you remove the Death Shield from that creep or hero. An important note is you can only have 1 Death Shield active at a time. I have a blue card for you this time. This one is Relentless Zombie. When you play this card, it gives this same creep Death Shield. This means, once again, if you are about to kill it, if it's about to get killed, it instead survives, the Death Shield is destroyed, and it has 1 health remaining. If a unit is disarmed, this unit can't deal any attack damage. And by attack damage, I mean combat phase damage, cards like Duel that make them fight another creep or hero. It also cannot attack them, but it can deal effect damage. And I have a card for you. Once again, a blue card, Crystal Maiden's blue card, Frostbite. This signature spell deals 2 damage to a unit and disarms it this round. This means the unit that is attacked by Frostbite can't attack during combat phase and can't deal attack damage with cards such as Berserker Skull or Duel. If there is a keyword that doesn't need explanation, it is this one, Heal. Basically, it heals the target for the value that Heal says, right? And it heals it right away. I have 2 cards. I'm going to show the 2 right away. Fountain Flask. This one is a consumable item and it fully heals a unit. And we also got Restoration Effort. I show you this card as well because towers can also be healed, which is really interesting to know. So Restoration Effort heals your tower for 8, and this happens instantly. Lock is a really interesting mechanic. If a card in your hand is locked, you cannot play it for the amount of rounds it is locked for. So let me show you a card to make this easier to understand. This one is Buying Time, a blue card, control-ish. It gives 2 random cards in your opponent's hand plus 2 lock. This means he cannot play it for 2 rounds. When that round passes, the first round passes, it's -1 lock, and then the second round, -1 lock, and then you can play it on the 3rd round. So basically, lock means you can't play the card. Modify basically means the target, being it a hero, a creep, or a tower, gets an effect for the rest of the game. Let me show you a green card. This one is Defend the Weak. It gives a unit the effect, these units' allied neighbors have +2 armor. So for the rest of the game, any neighbors to that unit will have +2 armor. You can also modify towers. For example, this black card modifies the enemy tower and it gives it -1 mana, which is, by the way, a pretty cool effect. It is important to know modifications, even if the hero dies, are kept unless you purge them, but we're gonna go over Purge in a moment. Purge is the keyword used to say remove modifications and effects from a unit. It can remove effects played by you, effects played by your opponent, or both. For example, this green card, Cleansing Rite, removes from a hero all the effects and modifications played by your opponent. Pulse perhaps is the strangest keyword, or at least the hardest to explain. Basically, if a card has pulse before an effect, that means that anything that happened before that effect gets processed, so it's a delay between effect. For example, we got this card, this red card, Smash Their Defenses. It condemns an improvement, and then we can see a little circle arrow icon that means pulse, and then it draws a card. So first it condemns an improvement, so the improvement is first destroyed, and then it draws a card. So basically, and once again, when that icon is shown, it means process all that has happened. This means destroying equipment, destroying improvements, maybe dealing lethal damage and killing a target, hero, or creep, and then do the other effect. Some cards have cycled pulse. This means deal 3 damage, pulse, deal 3 damage, pulse, deal 3 damage. This is used to, for example, avoid dealing overkill damage to a single target. Rapid deployment is a really strong effect. It basically means if a hero dies, it doesn't have to wait on the fountain the 2 rounds to be redeployed. It can be deployed right away next turn. So no wonder Vesture of Tyrant, which is the card I bring to you, costs 19 gold. This card gives a hero +3 armor and rapid deployment, as well as +3 armor to the tower. But then if a hero has Vesture of Tyrant, he doesn't have to wait on the fountain 2 turns. He just gets deployed right after being killed on the next deployment phase. Regeneration is a heal that takes effect after combat damage is applied. But if a hero was to die and is regenerated for health and goes above the 0 threshold, then it actually survives. For example, this ring, which costs 12 gold, gives the hero +4 health and +6 regeneration. So if a hero has 6 health left and it is hit for 6 damage, instead it just keeps its 6 health after the damage. It is an interesting mechanic to watch out for in green and red decks, because these are cards that have really tanky heroes. So we're probably gonna see a lot of regeneration based red and green decks. Retaliate is a simple mechanic as well. It basically means spike damage. So if something hits a target with Retaliate, it gets hit back. we got this red card, this red improvement, which gives a tower +2 retaliate. So if a hero or a creep was to attack a tower with this improvement, it gets hit back for 2 damage. If you have played Magic the Gathering, this will probably sound a lot like Trample. And I'm talking about Siege. When a unit has Siege, when it gets blocked, instead of only getting blocked, it also deals damage to the tower for the Siege value. And that is the main difference, by the way, between Trample and Siege. Siege always hits the tower for the specific Siege value. For example, Thunderhide Pack, this 8 mana minion, green minion, which has 14 attack and 14 armor. When it attacks, if it gets blocked, instead of just blocking all the damage, it hits the tower as well for 6 damage. The effect of this card is rather simple, so I'm going to start with the card. Act of Defiance, it silences a unit this round. When a creep, or more specifically in this case a hero, is silenced, it prevents him from using item abilities, from using active effects, and from casting card spells on that lane. So for example, if you have only one green hero in the lane and it is silenced, then you cannot play green cards on that lane anymore. Remember, this only applies on item abilities, spell cards, and active effects. Passive effects play as usual. Stun is a rather easy to understand keyword as long as you understand what silence and disarm means, because this is the combination of both effects on a single keyword. So when a unit is stunned, it cannot deal attack damage, it cannot cast spell cards, it cannot use active effects, and it cannot activate item abilities. We have a green card called Caught Unprepared, which stuns a hero until they equip an item. This means if they don't equip an item after you use this card, they cannot deal attack damage, they cannot activate item abilities, they cannot use active effects, and they cannot cast spell cards. Swap means exchanging position with another unit. So when you swap a hero with another unit, they both change their position in the board, and the combat targets then get reset. Therefore, if the hero gets moved or the unit gets moved to a place where there's no enemy in front of him, then a new path is assigned to them. So it's a great way of resetting paths. Face Boots, for example, is an item that lets you every 2 turns swap a hero with any other ally, as well as giving you 4 health. And last but not least, we have Taunt. Taunt forces the opposing neighbors of the target with Taunt to attack the target with Taunt. This is not like Hearthstone. The targets have to be able to normally attack, so this is the target in front, on the direct right, and on the direct left of the target with Taunt. All other heroes and creeps attacking on that combat phase just attack normally. That is all for today, players, and I know this video was really heavy on concepts, really heavy on research, so if you wanna review any mechanic we walked through on this video, there's timestamps on the description, or if you have any question regarding a specific keyword, concept, or mechanic, be sure to ask it on the comment box. I'll really gladly answer all your questions, and if you found this video helpful, if you liked it, be sure to subscribe. It really helps, and I would really appreciate it. And also, guys, remember, Artifact launch date is coming on the November 28th, and I'm really hyped for it, and I'm gonna be giving away 3 Artifact copies during my stream that day, so be sure to follow on Twitch and watch the stream that day. There's a link to my Twitch channel on the description box below. That's all for today, players. This was Trilane. I'm signing out. Thanks for watching.